This is the Chiropractic Marketing Podcast, an on-demand talk radio show that covers internet marketing best practices for chiropractors. I'm your host, Dr. Patrick McNamara. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 74 of the Chiropractic Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Patrick McNamara, and today we're tackling one of the most common questions I hear from chiropractors who are working on their local SEO. And that question is, how long is this actually going to take? Specifically, how long before you start showing up in Google Maps and pulling in real patients from local search? Now look, I get why this question keeps coming up. You've done the work, you've set up or updated your Google business profile, you're trying to do the right things, and you want to know when the payoff arrives. And the honest answer, the one that nobody really wants to hear, is that it depends. But that's not where I'm going to leave you today, because understanding what it depends on is actually what gives you control over the timeline. And that's what this episode is all about. Let's start with the big picture. The Google Map Pack, sometimes called the Local 3-Pack, is that cluster of 3 business listings that shows up right at the top of search results when someone types in something like chiropractor near me or best chiropractor in whatever city you're in. Those 3 spots are incredibly valuable. Studies have consistently shown that practices outside of those top local positions can miss out on the vast majority of potential patient clicks. We're talking about losing up to 95% of your available website traffic just by not being visible at the top. So yeah, this matters a lot. Now, when it comes to realistic timelines, let me walk you through the 3 scenarios I see most often. If you've just created a brand new Google business profile, you're generally looking at a minimum of 3 to 6 months before you start seeing meaningful traction. That's not me being pessimistic. That's just how Google works. The platform needs time to verify your business, confirm the accuracy of your information, and begin building trust in your listing. During those first few months, your job is to make sure everything is fully built out from day one. I've done a full episode on what complete strategic Google Business Profile optimization actually looks like. Check the show notes for a link to that one. The second scenario is when you have an established profile that's just been sitting there without much attention. Maybe it's been up for a year or 2, but it's never really been optimized. In that case, if you go in and make significant improvements, updating your business description with relevant keywords, tightening up your service categories, posting regular content, uploading fresh photos, and getting active with review responses, you can often start seeing real movement within 2 to 4 months. The foundation is already there. You're just giving it the fuel it needs. The third scenario is the most challenging one, and it's very common among chiropractors in larger cities or densely populated suburbs, an established profile in a highly competitive market. Even with a well-optimized profile, you might be looking at 6 months to over a year before you're consistently landing in the map pack. That's because Google isn't just looking at your profile in isolation. It's weighing your domain authority, the quality and consistency of your local citations, how your review volume stacks up against competitors, and the overall strength of your chiropractic website. Competition doesn't just slow things down, it raises the entire bar for what it takes to win. So what are the actual levers that determine how fast any of this happens? Let me break those down for you. The first and most foundational factor is your Google Business Profile itself. A fully completed, strategically optimized Google Business Profile is your single most important local ranking asset. Google rewards profiles that are complete, accurate, active, and relevant. Choosing the right primary category, chiropractor, and adding well-chosen secondary categories matters. Your business description should be rich with the keywords your patients are actually using. Your service list should be complete. Your photos should be current and high quality, and your posting activity needs to be consistent. I've talked about Google Business Profile posts in a dedicated episode. You can find that link in the show notes, because regular posting signals to Google that your practice is active and engaged. The second big factor is your reviews, and I'm not just talking about how many you have. Google pays attention to 3 dimensions of your review profile: volume, recency, and response rate. More reviews signal trust. Recent reviews signal that you're actively serving patients right now, and responding to every review, the 5-star ones and the occasional critical ones, signals that you're an engaged business owner. If you don't have a consistent system for generating new reviews, your map pack position will stall. We've covered review management for chiropractors in a prior episode, and I'll drop that link in the show notes for you. Third is what we call NAP consistency. That stands for name, address, and phone number. Every listing of your practice across the web needs to be identical. Google, Yelp, Healthgrades, ZocDoc, Facebook, your own website, they all need to match perfectly. When there are inconsistencies, Google gets confused, and confused algorithms don't reward you with strong rankings. Building clean, consistent citations across authoritative directories is a foundational step in local SEO, and we've done a full episode on citation management that you'll want to revisit if this is an area you haven't locked down yet. Fourth is your website. A lot of chiropractors think of their Google Business Profile and their website as separate things, but Google cross-references them constantly. It's looking at your website to validate your location signals, confirm what services you offer, and assess your overall topical authority. A well-structured website with properly optimized local pages, schema markup, and strong internal architecture will actually accelerate your MAPS ranking, not just your organic rankings. I'll put a link in the show notes to our local SEO website optimization episode if you want to go deeper on that. Fifth, and this one you can't fully control, is proximity. Google serves map pack results based in part on how close your clinic is to the person searching. Naturally, you're going to rank better for patients in your immediate neighborhood than for someone 10 miles away. But here's the good news. Strong optimization across all the other factors can meaningfully extend your ranking radius, allowing you to show up for searchers who are farther out than you might expect. And the sixth factor is behavioral signals. Things like clicks on your listing, phone calls, requests for directions, and visits to your website. All of these tell Google that real people are finding your listing relevant and useful. The more genuine engagement your profile generates, the stronger your ranking signal becomes. This is why a well-optimized, visually compelling profile with accurate information consistently outperforms a neglected listing, even if the neglected one has been around longer. Now, here's something I really want you to pay attention to, because this is where the landscape has shifted significantly. Ranking in Google Maps is no longer just about Google Maps. With AI-powered search now embedded in tools like Google's AI Overviews, ChatGPT, and Perplexity, your local visibility is being evaluated on an entirely new level. These AI engines aren't just pulling from maps, they're synthesizing information from your website, your business profile, your online reviews, your structured data, and authoritative mentions of your practice across the web to decide which chiropractors to recommend in their responses. This is why Generative Engine Optimization, GEO, has become such a critical piece of the puzzle. Chiropractors who are showing up inside AI-generated answers are capturing high-intent patients before those patients even reach traditional search results. We've done an episode on generative engine optimization that I'd really encourage you to check out. The link is in the show notes. And we've also covered AI visibility tips specifically for chiropractors. These topics aren't the future anymore. They're right now. So what can you actually do to move faster? Let's talk practical steps. Start with your Google Business Profile and make sure every single field is filled in. Not just the basics, everything. Categories, services, photos, business description, and hours. If you haven't looked at your profile in a few months, go look at it today and audit it like you're seeing it for the first time. Would a new patient in your area find it compelling? Does it answer the questions they'd be asking? Next, build a real review generation system. Don't wait for happy patients to spontaneously leave reviews. Build a process, follow-up texts, email automation, or a simple ask at checkout that makes requesting reviews a routine part of how your practice operates. Consistency is what matters here. 10 new reviews every month is far more powerful than 100 reviews in one burst with nothing to follow. Next, add schema markup to your website. I know that sounds technical, but what schema markup does is give Google and AI search engines a clear, structured way to understand exactly who you are, where you're located, and what you treat. There's a great resource on the DCRank website that walks through exactly what to implement. Check the show notes for that link. Audit your citations and eliminate any inconsistencies. This one is often overlooked, but it's foundational. If your business name is slightly different on one directory than another, or if an old address or phone number is still floating around somewhere out there, it's working against you. Invest in local link building. Links from locally relevant and medically authoritative websites strengthen both your organic rankings and your map's visibility. Think about sponsoring local events, building relationships with complementary health practitioners, or pursuing coverage in local news outlets. Each quality local link is a trust signal to Google about your presence in the community. And don't overlook voice search optimization. A growing number of local searches are now happening through voice assistants. If your content and your profile aren't written in the natural conversational language that people use when they speak, things like who's the best chiropractor near me open on Saturdays, then you're missing a real and growing segment of local search traffic. One more thing I want to address before I wrap up today, and that's the ranking drop. This is actually more common than most chiropractors realize. It can happen because of a Google algorithm update, a surge in competitor activity, a slowdown in your review frequency, outdated profile information, or changes to your website that weakened your local SEO signals. If that's happened to you, the key is a structured audit across all the factors we talked about today. We've covered that topic in a dedicated episode as well. Check the show notes for a link to the Business Profile Rankings drop episode. Here's the bottom line I want you to take away from today. Ranking in Google Maps isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process of building trust, authority, and relevance in the eyes of Google's algorithm and increasingly in the eyes of AI-powered search engines too. The chiropractors who rank fastest and stay ranked are the ones who treat their local presence as a living, active asset rather than a checkbox they ticked off once. If you want help putting all of this together, the Google Business Profile Optimization, the local SEO, the AI search visibility, that's exactly what DCRank is built for. We work exclusively with chiropractors, and we build comprehensive local search strategies designed to put your practice in front of the patients who are looking for you right now. To learn more, visit DCRank.com. That's DCRank.com. All right, that wraps things up for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in to the Chiropractic Marketing Podcast. Before you go, remember to subscribe to my podcast on your favorite platform, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Audible, YouTube Podcasts, Spotify, or others. I've got you covered. If you need to see a full list of supported platforms, simply visit chiropracticmarketingpodcast.com. Last but certainly not least, I'd love to hear your thoughts on Apple Podcasts. Your reviews not only help build awareness of what I'm talking about, but also give me a good indication of how I'm doing. Be nice, be fair, but definitely be honest. I would greatly appreciate it, and so will future listeners. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.